this is where the left can learn a lesson here. Why?
Oh, okay. Emma Vigeland saying the left can learn a lesson from the right. Well, let's see what that lesson is.
I think the biggest problem with a lot of online political discourse is that the engagement starts and stops when you are on and off Twitter. That it feels like it's very hard for people to translate a lot of what they do online into some type of real political action. And I think on YouTube and on stream, I think we have probably the most engaged audiences of any media forum that exists today, more than television, more.
Hell yeah. Shout out to you guys for being here. This whole thing is nothing. It's nothing without you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for the likes. And those of you who've been subscribing lately, I can see it. I notice you guys here. I love it. I can't tell you enough. Can't tell you enough.
More than talk radio, more than anything, our audiences will watch us for hours and hours every day, or tune into, the Majority Report every single day, and they follow us on Twitter and on other social medias.
Well, you guys don't really follow me on social media, but it's right here if you want to follow me.
And I think that relationship, if we're going to take all the negatives of like people fighting online and the edutainment and everything else, if we're going to take all of that, we should also do some of the positives, which is mobilizing people to real world political activism.
Yes. Which generally is a good thing, but I don't want them doing it because they're pushing out the wrong ideas. But I do think it is a virtuous thing to want to, if you genuinely believe that you have good ideas, then I think it's virtuous to want to spread that. I think it's virtuous to want to, build a better society. That's, I think, what most of us who have these channels are doing. Well, maybe not most, but a lot of us. And so I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just, their differences. Xander said, congrats on the 2K. 5K is around the corner. Thank you. And indeed, you do. You're one of the very few. I know you, Dan, Unwanted Foe, I think you follow me. Some of you guys do, but let's see if I get any notifications while the stream is still going.
So you all have been involved in these debates.
Oh, and real quick before I forget, but quick. Remember, I have got new stickers and I want to make sure that we are always able to contact each other. I promise. I'm not going to email you some bullshit, but just send an email to the Indian Jesus Official at gmail.com. The Indian Jesus Official at gmail.com. Just put your YouTube or whatever username so I know who you are. And just so we have it. I promise. I'm not going to be sending you anything that we don't need. I promise. But I want to make sure that we can always stay in contact. The Indian Jesus Official at gmail.com. All right, where were we?
All of that. We should also do some of the positives, which is mobilizing people to real world political activism.
Yeah, so you all have been involved in these debates for a long time. And you have histories with other people in the space and with each other. And that can, I think you're talking about how that can isolate. So, and yet you're all making the case that the audiences are engaged and want to get something done. So what does it take for you? What do you think the ingredients are that are necessary to still engage in this type of debates and content that you create, but also have constructive relationships to mobilize your audiences for better change?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it's really sad because this guy's asking decently good questions. It's just that, the last question didn't apply to 2/3 of the panel. And then the other third of the panel is Emma.
That's kind of a question about like our personal psychology a little bit there. So, my therapist should be watching this, honestly. Yeah, I mean,
ha.
I guess for me, I've had very few friends in the...
That does not surprise me in the least.
The political online space. I have a few. Most of my social life is with my friends from high school and college, and so I'm able to at least have an emotional outlet outside of anything that has to do with work, right? Where I can stand for what I believe in. I can do the best that I can to advocate for the policies that I believe in, and it doesn't become as personal, hopefully, for me. But it's an ongoing, thing you battle with, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's difficult all around, especially.
I honestly do not care about this question.
That's good advice, and I just want to piggyback on that because it is a good point. When you bring up those school boards, why the right is, this is where the left can learn a lesson here. Why the
Oh, okay. Emma Vigeland saying the left can learn a lesson from the right. Well, let's see what that lesson is. And before she even says it, I bet you it's a thing that doesn't even happen. Because like the inverse of this is when I say like, oh, the left is very well connected. Their messaging is on point. They can get their people to mobilize their people to do anything. And the right needs to be better with that. Let's see.
they're so effective at essentially having a very high floor for political engagement with their base is that they activate people on such visceral local levels. If you're going to your school board meeting to yell about genderqueer being in the library at your school and you're running for your school board,
then you are a fantastic person and I would vote for you. I want to post that she needs a therapist that is logic-based. I bet a lot. I bet a lot that her therapist only affirms her emotions and doesn't push positive change. I think that would be a good bet. I think that would be a good bet if she had a therapist that actually would challenge her. And I mean, obviously, we're speculating wildly, but makes sense that she would just be like, oh, you're a misogynist, you're this, you're that, you're this phobic, you're that phobic. I'm going to somebody who's going to tell me what I want to hear. I'm with it. Yeah, but I think if you are going to school board meetings and you are running for school board, then you are a good person.
you're voting Republican in state races, you're voting Republican in federal races, you're organizing. Like, they understand how to make the politics so personal that in the end, like, your crazy uncle is screaming at a teacher or a superintendent as they drive out of the parking lot, right?
Yes, because they're trying to trans the kids. That is an appropriate reaction. Maybe not specifically going to yell at the teacher, but the level of anger, it makes sense. And so for you to, again, as Destiny said, avoid these conversations to understand why, then it makes a lot of sense if you understand that the reason that a lot of these issues are aligned is because they're based on principles. They're based on a very small core values. And so if those values are, if those values are strong and if they are legitimate, then they'll spread out into every aspect of your life, which is a good thing. Again, going back to their idea of separating politics and real life. Well, in politics, we just have to say the right thing but in real life, I mean, it's a little bit messier, right? It's so telling. It's so telling. Every word she says is so telling about who she really is. Melton My Media said the left does the same thing on a broader scale. I actually disagree with you. I think she is right. Where the messaging, at least lately, certainly since the cultural right has kind of brought some momentum, is exactly what Emma said. Getting to the visceral aspect of the issue. Abortion is murder. Trans is mutilation. All these things, and because they're right and it's not just propaganda, then it allows everybody to coalesce around this idea that maybe, just maybe, toddlers should not be making lifelong medical decisions. Just a crazy idea. Yeah, I bet that's her favorite Twitter account, right? Melton My Media said their base is way more online than local. Yep, they're about to address that. They said yelling at the teacher for indoctrination is 10,000% based. If I had a child and found out they were teaching them anything on sexuality, I would lose my shit. I don't understand why more parents are more outraged, because they don't know, or they just go along with saying, oh no, this is normal. You're supposed to think this is normal. So if you think this is not normal, then you're a bigot. You might be right wing. That's how. And a lot of these parents are like, oh, okay, I want to be on the right side of history. I don't want to rock the boat. I just saw a video that Tim Pool put out a few days ago, where there's it's going around asking dad, you know, one of these man on the street interviews. It's asking dads who are with their kids basic questions about their kids. When's your kid's birthday? What is the name of your kid's teacher? And the dads didn't know. It's like, all right, I mean, I am all for like Dr. Evil Genius was saying earlier that you know, take away hate for the boys and men and see what happens. Absolutely. Absolutely. But to say there is not some aspect of men that is very clearly not doing what they're supposed to be doing is unfortunately the other side of that coin. Unfortunately, the other side of that coin. It's not justified that all this hate, but it's not there for zero reason. It's not. No, she would just be like, no, that's a conspiracy theory. It's not like she hasn't heard this. She just has done the mental gymnastics to inoculate herself against the logical arguments. Xander said, a lot of folks seem to be bending the knee to the new curriculum. Yep. So this is kind of a new thing where the left blames their failures on not being able to get their message out. It's too bad they don't control universities and the major media outlets. So that's not what she's saying, in my opinion. What I think she's saying is that you know, they're good with their messaging, but it's not as doesn't say it's not as visceral. And because when like, if we think about abortion, then on the right it's like, oh, you're murdering babies, and on the left it's like, well, you know, it's just cells and blah, 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 blah. And so using the messaging that it is a baby is a lot more visceral. But the idea of my body, my choice is a lot more people subscribe to that than that abortion is murder. So it's not the effectiveness of the message. It's the style of messaging. Well, I mean, but they do with global warming. We're going to die in 15 years.
How dare you?
So yeah, they do have that. But again, the idea of dying in 15 years is not nearly as visceral as murdering a baby right now. You know what I mean? That's what they're getting at. Hey, shout out to Just Talk About It. Welcome to the party. Always glad to see you. Welcome. Good to see.
They become so radicalized by what the rights project is. The left doesn't have like reactionary impulses that they can instill in their base to do the same thing, but that is something that we can improve on when you make politics personal to people's lives. They're much more likely to be activated in a variety of different ways.
Well, and also now you're actually talking about the things that matter. It's not just because it's personal. It's the fact, like, it's not just like, oh, well, because this is personal, I'm going to care more about it. No, the fact that it is personal is going to have people caring more. So if you're talking about these esoteric ideas about, you know, CRT and years ago this happened and now your whole life needs to change because of these sins and now you have to pay that, we have to fix this. You may have a little bit of a point on some of these things. But because you're so ideologically indoctrinated, you're so dogmatic that whatever information you might have gets brushed off because of your attitude. And Wanted Folks said the left doesn't have reactionary impulses, and what? They're insanely reactionary about shit that doesn't even affect them personally. I think that, you know, I don't agree. I don't have the same position as Emma. I'm just saying I understand what she's saying, is that the effect of more right-wing cultural propaganda is that a visceral thing. Whereas on the left, it's more about you're just a bad person. You're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a white supremacist, you're transphobic. It's about, well, if you want to hang out with us, that's the messaging. And the message, they've created the desire to hang out with us so much that it works. But she's absolutely right that when we talk about, you know, I mean, even if we want to talk about dead kids, even if we want to talk about that, when they say, you know, abortion is murder versus you can either have a trans kid or a dead kid. I mean, that's a visceral message. but they don't have a lot of those. They don't need them because everybody marches in lockstep, which is, again, why they should be open to having conversations with people they disagree with. But that's this whole thing of progressivism is a house of cards. It's there, but it's not sturdy. Xander said it's marketing 101. The left is great at dumbing complex points into slogans that stick to their drones. Their drones? But yeah, that sticks in their minds. Millions of women screaming, "My body, my choice," is an immediate reaction to a pro-life person. Yep. Right needs marketing courses ASAP. Well, it sounds, at least from an outside perspective, as we just heard, that some people are starting to get better with it. And we're starting to make ground on a lot of these issues. So I mean, I agree that we need to continue and we need to be better, but it's happening. It is happening. The pendulum is a-swinging. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.